Good afternoon. This public meeting of the Board Governance and Personnel Committee is being held at 30 North 3rd Street, Harrisburg, PA. By participating in this session, you are consenting to the recording, retention, and future viewing of this meeting. Although being live streamed via the internet, this meeting is a live, in-person meeting open to the public in accordance with the Sunshine Act. The live streaming of this meeting is presented as a convenience and is not provided as the official means for public attendance. In the event the live stream fails or cannot be transmitted for any reason, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption. Please proceed with the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is the the committee meeting of the Board Governance and Personnel Committee. It's September 22nd, 2022, 3 o'clock-ish time. I call this meeting to order, and I'd like to have a roll call. Katie Matthews.
Chair Philman.
Present.
Treasurer Garrity or designee.
I'm here.
Thank you. Senator Hughes or designee.
Matt Lindsay on behalf of Senator Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Secretary Thal.
Here.
And Secretary Vague or designee.
You're on mute, Jim.
Jim Bloom representing Secretary Vague, unmuted.
Thank you, Mr. Bloom. All present.
All right, thank you very much. With that, there are no introductions. Item number 3 is the approval of the minutes. I move that the Board Governance and Personnel Committee approve the minutes of the July 18th, 2022 Board Governance and Personnel Committee meeting. It's been properly moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I hear a second. Anyone in the question? Hearing none. All in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Item number 4 is old business, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Collins.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will ask you to refer you to on Board Docs 4A, where you will see an update and a current status of the strategic plan for the current fiscal year. And any questions, please reach out after the meeting if after review you have any. And then I'd like to turn the next item over to Katie Matthews.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Cindy. If you're following along in Board Docs, we are up to Agenda Item 4B, the evaluation process for selected key positions. So when the committee's annual work plan was developed, it included a placeholder for this September meeting to revisit the topic of performance reviews. So I'd like to take just a few very brief moments to provide an update on this initiative. You may recall a self-assessment process of our board governance was conducted by Funston Advisory Services in 2021, with one of the assessment areas being the evaluation of board direct reports. An action item resulting out of the self-assessment was to develop a comprehensive performance review process for 5 selected key positions, those positions being the executive director, chief investment officer, chief counsel, chief compliance officer, and internal audit director. Performance evaluation processes already exist for both the executive director and the chief investment officer. For the other selected key positions, we've been adhering to the General Commonwealth Guidelines for Performance Management, and HR has been working closely with the various agency program areas to ensure employees are receiving regular performance evaluations. As you also know, we've engaged the services of CBIZ for a classification and compensation study of our investment professionals and attorneys. Now, there is the possibility that an outcome of the study impacts performance evaluation considerations for those positions covered under the study. This would include the selected key positions of Chief Investment Officer, Chief Counsel, and Chief Compliance Officer. So in short, the status update on performance evaluation processes is that their creation is being deferred until the conclusion of the classification and compensation study. Although the study does not cover all of the identified selected key positions, we would like to keep the performance evaluation processes as consistent as is reasonably and feasibly possible across all of the identified job titles. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Katie? Seeing none, thank you very much. We'll move on. Yes? Oh, I thought so. Okay. Item number 5, special presentations. There are none. New business, Ms. Collins and Mr. Torta, the SERS strategic plan.
Yes, I wanted to update the board and give you insight into early planning for the upcoming new strategic plan that will start in fiscal year 2024. Don Bell and I are leading the, on the staff level, the strategic plan process. Don has secured the services of Liz Weber to act as a facilitator for the board and staff in the strategic plan process. And we anticipate bringing some information to you shortly, maybe even before the next board meeting, just to update you where we are. There may be some preliminary meetings that the board may be interested in engaging with. And then I'd ask Joe to please speak to he's articulated a vision in terms of what he'd like to see this next strategic planning process encompass.
Thank you, Cindy. When I looked at the agency, and I'll try to be as brief as I can, one of the things that I noticed that the pandemic exposed, among other things, was how reliant we were on paper documents and paper checks. And my goal for the new strategic plan is to convert from paper to automated processes and to look for opportunities across every single business area of SERS to do so and to expand our automated approach to work as expansively as we can. And that's for every single business area. And just to give you some context, I started to think about how can I convey this to the board? It's one thing to say, well, we retire about 6,000 people a year and there's about 15 documents in each retirement package. We do probably about 7,000 refund packages a year. There's about 5 documents in every refund package. That's 125,000 documents just for those 2 business processes. But those are high volume, and that is how our members and participants get their money out of the system. And we do, as I just said, thousands and thousands of them every single year. It's our core business. We pay people. Just to give you an idea, you look at the boardroom. A few years ago, we had stacks of paper everywhere. Thank God we converted from that. What a difference. Multiply that by 100,000, and that's what we're doing. And that doesn't even include the federal withholding forms, the beneficiary forms. We're talking about somewhere between 250,000 and 500,000 documents every single year that all have to be individually date stamped, individually scanned, and individually indexed by staff before we can process a member benefit or a transaction that the member has initiated. So what I want to do is fundamentally change how we service the members and participants. I've been here since 1989, and some of what we're doing today is the same way we were doing it then. And one of the reasons that I want to pursue this initiative, it isn't just to catch up to the rest of the public pension industry and how they administer their benefits. It's because I think if there's one person that's been standing in the way of this progress over the years, it's probably me, because I've been in charge of member services for over a decade. And I think it's an opportunity for SERS to build into the strategic plan. Now, if that sounds like just one aspect of the strategic plan, no, it's a huge undertaking. And it involves every single business area, as I see it, obviously some more than others. I think we have 2 goals in mind. Primary goals. Again, I mentioned we want to be consistent with other public pension plans. We are on the wrong end of that sphere, to put it mildly. I talked to our business partners at Empower that work with many public pension plans, and I'm not saying SERS is dead last, but we might be from the standpoint of automated processes and customer service. And I also want to work with the cybersecurity officer to do so in as secure a way as possible. I think there's a tremendous opportunity here, and the overall goal being along those 2 lines to improve customer service, but to do it in as secure a way as we can. So that's my vision for the strategic plan. Along those lines, we can use up the way the bylaws read, we have up to 4 years for a strategic plan. I want to use the 4 full years because I think we're going to need it. Okay? Initially, I thought maybe we could tweak that and go beyond 4 years, but I think it's doable in a 4-year time frame. So that's what I want to do. The other thing, and this is not an aside, I looked at our mission, our vision statement and our mission statement. And, one of the things that I wanted to do when I came here as the executive director, when I got this position, was to make SERS as inclusive an employer as possible. And quite frankly, the vision statement and the mission statement I don't think they reflect our core values in that regard. So we're going to take a fresh look at that and adjust our guiding principles to reflect those core values. So along those lines, I think it'll express more clearly who we are, and I think it'll take us into the current business sphere with other public pension administrators in how we serve our members and participants. So, that's my 2 to 5 minute version of the strategic plan. I don't know how long I was speaking, but that's how I see it moving forward. Thanks.
And just as a reminder, the board next year will be our 100th anniversary. So we think that this is a very appropriate time to take a look at those things. So thank you.
Yes, Mary.
Yeah, I guess I'm surprised that we're only now looking at our paper processes, and I guess, knowing how we've moved forward with fits and starts with our whole IT transformation, I mean, the whole paper processes, that should all have been linked with our whole IT system. So hopefully, going forward, that will be the case.
Absolutely. When you think about it, the current IT project started 8.5 years ago. 8.5 years ago, this wasn't on the radar. It just wasn't. But is this going to be a major impediment with regards to our Sears 2.0 conversion? I don't think it's going to be a major impediment. I mean, we're basically going to have to format into the new IT system, the capability to have have many documents, simple documents, but ones that we do in very high volume, automated. And that's just, the individual counselors, retirement counselors, and administrators that go out and meet with the members and service their benefits and give them information. How that information is then documented and put into motion to make a benefit happen, the core calculations, the programming that's being done into the new system, that won't change. Because the benefit structure is what the benefit structure is. It's just a matter of how we funnel that information into the system.
Okay.
Brown?
Thank you.
Let me just say that for the folks that weren't here, when we had meetings, like everything that you see in your board docs was actually paper piece, and I mean literally 4 or 5 inches thick, that was sent to your house originally, or your office. Then we changed to just have it here for pickup. So it was bizarre, to say the least. And you keep in mind that some of this stuff is very confidential stuff that you just can't toss in a trash can anywhere. So it became a problem. Obviously, SERS here had the ability to shred it. But yes, I remember those days when we did have just tons and tons of paper. So I'm glad we're still moving in that direction. Thank you, Joe and Cindy, on that. With that, our next piece is an executive session, item number 7. So, Mr. Marcucci, you're up.
Thank you, Chairman Philman. The Sunshine Act allows an executive session to discuss any matter involving the employment, appointment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of performance, promotion or disciplining of any specific current public employee of SCRS. The scheduled executive session is to discuss and evaluate the salary of the special assistant to the executive director. This business is authorized under the Sunshine Act to be done in executive session.
Before we enter executive session, please give us a minute to make a few technical changes in the boardroom on your behalf. We'll make you aware when the appropriate changes have been made and the attendees in the team's meetings are checked. As a reminder to the public, this meeting will resume on this live stream connection when the executive session is complete. As a reminder, this meeting is being live streamed and being recorded. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.